Welcome to today's Lost Souls, where we bring you the most impactful and unforgettable stories from around the world. Today, we remember the lives of remarkable individuals whose legacies continue to inspire and resonate. From iconic musicians to trailblazing activists, join us as we celebrate their extraordinary contributions and bid farewell to those who have left an indelible mark on our lives. Stay tuned for a journey through their incredible stories.
Tristan Rogers, a beloved Australian actor best known for his iconic role as Robert Scorpio on the long-running ABC soap opera General Hospital, passed away at the age of 79 on August 15, 2025, after a battle with lung cancer. Born on June 3, 1946, in Melbourne, Australia, Rogers began his career in Australian television with appearances in popular shows such as Bellbird and The Link Men before transitioning to American television, where he achieved worldwide recognition. Rogers was initially cast on General Hospital in 1980 in what was meant to be a brief two-day role to confront the show's hero, Luke Spencer. However, his charm and charisma led to the creation of the character Robert Scorpio, a dashing and enigmatic secret agent for the fictional World Security Bureau. Scorpio quickly became a fan favorite and a key player in some of the show's most memorable storylines during the 1980s and beyond. One of the peak moments of Rogers' career, and indeed in daytime television history, was his role as best man at the 1981 wedding of Luke and Laura, which drew an audience of more than 30 million viewers, still holding the record for the highest-rated hour in American soap opera history. The adventurous spy character often found himself entangled in complex romantic relationships and perilous espionage missions, which helped elevate General Hospital beyond a typical medical drama into a cultural phenomenon. Throughout his tenure on the show, Rogers appeared in various stints, including a comeback in 2006 after his character was originally presumed dead in 1992. His portrayal of Scorpio's complexity, wit, and resilience endeared him to audiences and contributed to the soap's enduring success. Beyond General Hospital, Rogers also lent his voice to the Disney animated feature The Rescuers Down Under and appeared in other television series, showcasing his diverse talents. Tristan Rogers is remembered not only for his smooth charm and memorable performances, but also for his kindness and professionalism, whether on set or off. His legacy lives on through his unforgettable portrayal of Robert Scorpio, a character who became a symbol of cool sophistication and unwavering loyalty in daytime television. Danielle Spencer, an American actress best known for her role as Dee Thomas on the iconic 1970s ABC sitcom What's Happening, passed away on August 11, 2025, at the age of 60 after a lengthy battle with cancer. Born Danielle Louise Spencer on June 24, 1965, in Trenton, New Jersey, she grew up in the Bronx, New York, and began her acting career at a very young age. Spencer became a beloved figure in television after landing the role of Dee Thomas, the younger sister of Raj Thomas, in What's Happening. The show, which aired from 1976 to 1979, was groundbreaking for its authentic depiction of African-American teenage life in the Watts neighborhood of Los Angeles. Spencer's character was known for her quick wit, mischievous spirit, and memorable catchphrases such as, "Ooh, I'm gonna tell mama." She appeared in 65 episodes of the original series and later reprised her role in the sequel series What's Happening Now. From 1985 to 1988, her rise to fame was not without hardship. In 1977, during the production of the show, Spencer was critically injured in a severe car accident that left her in a coma for 3 weeks and resulted in the death of her stepfather and manager, Tim Pelt, who valiantly tried to protect her. This tragic event led to multiple surgeries and long-term health struggles. Despite these challenges, Spencer remained resilient. After What's Happening ended, Spencer shifted her focus toward education and became a devoted veterinarian. She earned a bachelor's degree in marine biology from UCLA and later earned a doctorate in veterinary medicine from Tuskegee University in 1993. She built a successful career in veterinary medicine while occasionally returning to acting, including roles in As Good as It Gets and Days of Our Lives. Spencer was also an author, publishing a memoir titled Through the Fire, Journal of a Child Star, which recounted her experiences as a child actress dealing with fame, tragedy, and recovery. She was known for her positivity, courage, and determination, inspiring many with her grace through adversity. Danielle Spencer is survived by her mother and brother. She leaves behind a legacy as a talented actress who broke new ground for representation on television and a compassionate professional who dedicated her later years to caring for animals. Her life story is one of triumph, resilience, and enduring spirit, remembered fondly by fans and colleagues alike. Jim Lovell. James Arthur Jim Lovell Jr., March 25, 1928 to August 7, 2025, was a distinguished American astronaut, naval aviator, test pilot, and mechanical engineer, universally celebrated for his pioneering contributions to space exploration. Born in Cleveland, Ohio, and raised in Terre Haute, Indiana, and Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Lovell's fascination with flight and engineering led him to a prestigious career in the U.S. Navy and, eventually, NASA. Lovell graduated from the United States Naval Academy in 1952 and went on to fly McDonnell F-2H Banshee night fighters and serve aboard the aircraft carrier USS Shangri-La. He was selected to become an astronaut in 1962, joining NASA's second group of astronauts. Over his career, he flew on 4 space missions, making him the first person to travel to space 4 times. His early space flights included Gemini 7 in 1965 and Commanding Gemini 12 in 1966, missions crucial to mastering orbital rendezvous and extravehicular activity. However, Lovell's most significant achievements were his roles in the historic Apollo missions. In 1968, as command module pilot of Apollo 8, Lovell, alongside Frank Borman and William Anders, became one of the first 3 humans to orbit the Moon. Apollo 8's mission captivated the world as the crew broadcast stunning images of the lunar surface and Earthrise on Christmas Eve, expanding humanity's horizons and inspiring generations. Lovell's legendary status was cemented when he commanded Apollo 13 in 1970, a mission famously dubbed a successful failure. An onboard explosion crippled the spacecraft, aborting the planned moon landing. Lovell and fellow astronauts John L. Jack Swigert Jr. and Fred W. Hayes Jr., in close coordination with Mission Control, executed a daring and innovative plan to use the lunar module as a lifeboat, conserving resources and returning safely to Earth against overwhelming odds. Lovell's calm leadership under pressure became emblematic of human ingenuity and resilience. After retiring from NASA and the Navy in 1973, Lovell embarked on a successful business career. He co-authored the memoir Lost Moon, which inspired the acclaimed 1995 film Apollo 13, featuring Tom Hanks as Lovell, in which Lovell also had a cameo. Honored with the Congressional Space Medal of Honor and the Presidential Medal of Freedom, Lovell's legacy is one of courage, pioneering spirit, and dedication to exploration. He passed away on August 7, 2025, at the age of 97, leaving behind a profound impact on the history of human spaceflight and a timeless example of leadership. Palmieri. Eddie Palmieri, a pioneering Latin jazz musician, bandleader, and composer, passed away on August 6, 2025, at the age of 88. Born Eduardo Palmieri on December 15, 1936, in Spanish Harlem, New York City, to Puerto Rican parents, Palmieri grew up in a vibrant musical environment deeply influenced by Afro-Caribbean rhythms and jazz. Alongside his older brother Charlie Palmieri, he played a crucial role in shaping the sound of Latin jazz and salsa across several decades. Palmieri began his musical journey with piano lessons at a young age before switching to timbales in his uncle's orchestra. Later, he returned to the piano, developing a distinctive style that incorporated intense, percussive playing, characterized by the use of his forearms and elbows, and even occasional vocal growls. His band La Perfecta, founded in 1961, revolutionized Latin music by introducing trombones instead of trumpets, which helped give birth to a modern salsa sound that blended syncopated Afro-Caribbean beats with jazz harmonies. Throughout the 1960s and 70s, Palmieri released a series of groundbreaking albums such as The Son of Latin Music, which won him the first ever Grammy awarded to a Latino musician in 1975. Vámonos Palmieri and Harlem River Drive. His innovative approach fused Latin sounds with jazz, funk, soul, and contemporary influences, pushing the boundaries of Latin music and earning him a total of 10 Grammy Awards over his prolific career. In addition to his work as a bandleader and performer, Palmieri was a gifted composer and arranger, credited with discovering and nurturing several significant Latin vocalists, including La India. His music continued to evolve, exploring complex African rhythms layered with dense jazz harmonies inspired by artists such as Thelonious Monk and McCoy Tyner. Palmieri spent his later years living in New Jersey, remaining an influential figure in the Latin music community until his passing after an extended illness. He is remembered as a visionary who transformed Latin jazz into a form of art that transcended cultural boundaries, bringing joy, innovation, and emotion to audiences worldwide. Eddie Palmieri's legacy as a musical innovator and cultural icon endures, with his contributions having left a permanent mark on the soundscape of modern Latin music. Reid. Reid, the iconic British rock singer and guitarist famously known as Super Lungs for his extraordinary vocal power and range, passed away on August 4, 2025, at the age of 75 after a battle with cancer. Born Terence James Reid on November 13, 1949, in Little Paxton, Cambridgeshire, England, Reid was admired by music legends and fans alike for both his formidable voice and soulful songwriting. Even if he never achieved the commercial fame many believed he deserved, Reid's career began in the early 1960s when, as a teenager, he formed his first band and soon became a supporting act for some of the biggest names in rock, including the Rolling Stones, Cream, Jethro Tull, and Fleetwood Mac. Known for his electrifying live performances, Reid captivated audiences with his emotional intensity and technical skill on both vocals and guitar. In a remarkable twist of rock history, Reid was initially invited by Jimmy Page to become the lead vocalist for the newly forming band Led Zeppelin, as well as later offers to front Deep Purple. However, Reid turned down these offers, a decision that would alter the trajectories of multiple iconic rock bands. Instead, he pursued a solo career that produced critically acclaimed albums such as Reid, 1969, and River, 1973, blending blues, folk, jazz, and soul influences while showcasing his unique artistic voice. Despite his undeniable talent and respect from peers like Aretha Franklin, Graham Nash, and Robert Plant, who called him probably the best singer of the era, Reid struggled to find major commercial success. Nevertheless, his work left a lasting influence on rock and blues music, inspiring generations of musicians. In his later years, Reid continued to perform and collaborate with various artists and music collectives, including performances with the American band Cosmic American Derelicts. He was known for his humility and dedication to his craft, embodying the spirit of a true artist's artist. Reid's death marks the passing of a legendary figure whose voice and musicianship left an indelible mark on rock history. Jackie Bezos. Jackie Bezos, the beloved mother of Amazon founder Jeff Bezos and a key figure in the company's early history, passed away peacefully on August 14, 2025, at the age of 78. She died at her home in Miami after a long battle with Lewy body dementia, a progressive neurological disorder that affects thinking, movement, and mood. Born Jacqueline Marie Guise on December 29, 1946, in Washington, D.C., Jackie grew up in Bernalillo, New Mexico. She became a mother at the age of 17, giving birth to Jeff Bezos. Despite early challenges as a single mother, she fiercely advocated for her son's education and future, ensuring he had opportunities to thrive. Jackie later married Miguel Mike Bezos, a Cuban immigrant who adopted Jeff and became a devoted father figure. Together, they had 2 more children, Christina and Mark. Jackie played a pivotal role in supporting Jeff's ambitious dreams, most notably by providing the initial investment of nearly $246,000 in 1995 that helped launch Amazon.com. Her belief and faith in Jeff's vision were foundational in shaping what would become one of the world's largest and most influential companies. The Bezos family's early gamble blossomed into a multi-billion-dollar empire. Beyond her role in Amazon's founding, Jackie Bezos was a passionate philanthropist. Alongside Mike and their family, she co-founded the Bezos Family Foundation in 2000, an organization dedicated to improving early childhood education and supporting youth development programs across the United States and Africa. The foundation's work includes initiatives like the Bezos Scholars Program and significant donations to medical research centers such as the Fred Hutchinson Cancer Center. Jackie earned a bachelor's degree in psychology at the age of 45 and continued to champion causes focused on education and healthcare throughout her life. Her resilience, compassion, and generosity touched many lives, inspiring those who knew her. Jeff Bezos paid tribute to his mother, describing her as a woman of immense love and perseverance who always gave more than she asked for. He expressed profound gratitude for having her in his life and mourned the loss of a guiding light whose influence shaped his journey. Jackie Bezos leaves behind a legacy of courage, dedication, and benevolence that continues through her family and the philanthropic endeavors she nurtured. Her life story is one of determination, love, and transformative impact on her family and society. Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen's entry into Hollywood came relatively early, thanks in part to his family connections, but his talent quickly proved he belonged there on his own merits. His first significant role came in 1984 with Red Dawn, where he starred alongside his brother Emilio and other members of what would become known as the Brat Pack. The film, directed by John Milius, featured Charlie as one of a group of teenagers fighting a Soviet invasion of the United States. While the movie received mixed reviews, it showcased Charlie's screen presence and established him as a young actor to watch. However, it was his collaboration with director Oliver Stone that truly launched Charlie's career into the stratosphere. In 1986, Stone cast him in Platoon, a Vietnam War drama that would become one of the most acclaimed films of the decade. Charlie played Chris Taylor, a young soldier based partly on Stone's own experiences in Vietnam. The role required immense emotional depth, and Charlie delivered a performance that was both vulnerable and powerful. Platoon won the Academy Award for Best Picture, and Charlie's performance was widely praised by critics. The film's success established him as a serious dramatic actor and proved he could carry a major motion picture. Building on this success, Charlie reunited with Oliver Stone for Wall Street in 1987, playing Bud Fox, an ambitious young stockbroker who becomes entangled with the ruthless Gordon Gekko, played by Michael Douglas. The film was a cultural phenomenon, and Charlie's portrayal of the morally conflicted protagonist was nuanced and compelling. His chemistry with Douglas was electric, and the film's exploration of greed and corruption in the financial world resonated with audiences. Wall Street further cemented Charlie's reputation as one of Hollywood's most promising young actors. The late 1980s and early 1990s saw Charlie take on a variety of roles that showcased his versatility. In Young Guns 1988, he played Richard Dick Brewer alongside an ensemble cast that included Emilio Estevez, Lou Diamond Phillips, and Kiefer Sutherland. The Western was a commercial success and spawned a sequel, Young Guns 2, 1990, in which Charlie reprised his role. These films demonstrated his ability to work effectively in ensemble pieces and showed his comfort with action-oriented roles. Perhaps one of Charlie's most beloved performances came in Major League 1989, where he played Rick Wild Thing Vaughn, a pitcher with a 100-map fastball and control issues. The baseball comedy was a perfect vehicle for Charlie's natural charisma and comedic timing. His portrayal of the wild, unpredictable pitcher with a heart of gold resonated with audiences, and the film became a cult classic. Charlie's own love of baseball made the role particularly meaningful to him, and his performance captured both the humor and the heart of the character. The early 1990s brought Hot Shots 1991, a parody of Top Gun and other military action films. Charlie's willingness to poke fun at his own serious dramatic roles showed his range as a performer and his ability not to take himself too seriously. The film was a commercial success, leading to Hot Shots Part 2 1993, which parodied Rambo and other action franchises. These comedies demonstrated Charlie's gift for physical comedy and his ability to deliver absurd dialogue with perfect timing. Throughout this period, Charlie was one of Hollywood's most bankable stars, His films consistently performed well at the box office, and he commanded significant salaries. More importantly, he had proven his ability to excel in multiple genres, from intense war dramas to broad comedies to action-packed westerns. Critics and audiences alike recognized his talent, and he seemed poised for a long and successful career in film. Behind the glittering facade of Charlie Sheen's Hollywood success lay a darker reality that would increasingly dominate his personal life and eventually spill into the public eye: his struggles with substance abuse, which had begun in his teenage years, escalated dramatically as his career reached new heights. The pressures of fame, combined with his naturally addictive personality, created a perfect storm that would lead to decades of health battles. Charlie's relationship with drugs and alcohol was well documented throughout the 1990s and 2000s. Though the full extent of his problems wasn't always apparent to the public, he developed dependencies on cocaine, alcohol, and prescription medications, leading to erratic behavior both on and off film sets. His substance abuse affected his work, with reports of tardiness, missed days of filming, and unprofessional conduct becoming increasingly common. Despite his talent, directors and producers began to view him as a risk, and his reputation in Hollywood started to suffer. The actor's personal life became tabloid fodder as his behavior became more unpredictable. He was arrested multiple times for various offenses, including domestic violence charges and drug possession. His relationships suffered tremendously, with a pattern of tumultuous marriages and divorces that often involved allegations of abuse and substance-related incidents. The stress of these legal battles and personal conflicts only served to fuel his destructive habits further. In 2015, Charlie made a shocking revelation that would change public perception of him forever. During a live television interview on NBC's Today Show with Matt Lauer, he disclosed that he was HIV positive, having been diagnosed approximately 4 years earlier. This announcement sent shockwaves through Hollywood and the general public. Charlie revealed that he had been paying millions of dollars in hush money to people who threatened to expose his HIV status, a situation that had caused him tremendous stress and financial strain. The HIV diagnosis was particularly devastating, given Charlie's history of unprotected sexual encounters and his lifestyle choices. He admitted to having put others at risk and expressed deep regret about his past behavior. The revelation explained some of his erratic behavior in recent years, as he had been struggling with the diagnosis in private while dealing with blackmail attempts and the fear of public exposure. Charlie's disclosure about his HIV status was both courageous and controversial. While many praised him for his honesty and his efforts to raise awareness about HIV, others criticized him for potentially endangering sexual partners that he became. An advocate for HIV awareness and treatment, working with organizations to promote testing and safe practices. His openness about living with HIV helped reduce stigma for many others dealing with the condition. The actor also struggled with mental health issues that compounded his substance abuse problems. He exhibited signs of bipolar disorder and other psychological conditions, though he was often resistant to treatment and medication compliance. His manic episodes, sometimes played out in public through social media or interviews, became legendary for their bizarre and often incoherent nature. Terms like tiger blood and winning became associated with his erratic public statements during particularly volatile periods. Charlie's health struggles weren't limited to substance abuse and HIV. The years of hard living took a physical toll on his body. He suffered from various ailments related to his lifestyle, including liver problems and cardiovascular issues. His appearance changed dramatically over the years, showing the effects of his battles with addiction and illness. Despite multiple attempts at rehabilitation and treatment, he struggled to maintain long-term sobriety. The intersection of his health problems with his professional life became increasingly problematic. His erratic behavior led to his dismissal from 2.5 Men, one of the television's highest-rated sitcoms, in 2011. His public feuds with the show's creator, Chuck Lorre, and his bizarre media appearances during this period highlighted how his personal struggles were affecting his career. The loss of this lucrative role represented not just a professional setback, but also a very public acknowledgement of how his health issues were impacting his ability to work. Charlie Sheen's life has been marked by profound personal losses that have shaped his character and contributed to his struggles with addiction and mental health. These losses, both within his immediate family and his personal relationships, have created layers of grief and trauma that have influenced his behavior and choices throughout his adult life. One of the most significant losses in Charlie's life was the deteriorating relationship with his father, Martin Sheen. While not a death in the literal sense, the emotional distance that grew between them represented a profound loss for Charlie. Martin, a devout Catholic and political activist, struggled to understand and accept his son's lifestyle choices and erratic behavior. The public nature of Charlie's scandals and legal troubles caused considerable embarrassment and pain for Martin, who had built his career on principles of social justice and moral integrity. Their relationship became strained to the point where they rarely spoke for extended periods, robbing Charlie of the paternal guidance and support he desperately needed during his darkest moments. Charlie's romantic relationships have been marked by a pattern of intense connections followed by devastating breakdowns. His marriage to actress Kelly Preston in the late 1980s ended tragically when Preston accidentally shot herself in the arm with Charlie's gun during a domestic dispute. Although she survived, the incident marked the beginning of a pattern of violence and instability in his relationships. The trauma of nearly losing someone he loved in such a shocking manner left lasting psychological scars. His subsequent relationships continued this pattern of initial happiness followed by dramatic deterioration. His marriage to model Donna Peel lasted less than a year, ending in a bitter divorce. His relationship with porn actress Ginger Lynn was tumultuous and marked by substance abuse issues that affected both partners. These failed relationships weren't just personal disappointments. They represented repeated losses of emotional connection and stability that Charlie seemed unable to maintain. Perhaps the most devastating losses were those involving his children and his role as a father. Charlie has 5 children from different relationships, and his inability to maintain stable relationships with their mothers has resulted in limited and often problematic access to his children. His twins with actress Brooke Muller, Bob and Max, were removed from his care multiple times due to concerns about domestic violence and substance abuse. The loss of daily contact with his children and the knowledge that his behavior was directly responsible for these separations created a cycle of guilt and self-destructive behavior. His relationship with his daughters Sam and Lola from his marriage to actress Denise Richards has been particularly painful. Despite Denise's efforts to maintain a relationship between Charlie and their children, his erratic behavior, substance abuse, and public outbursts have created barriers to meaningful father-daughter relationships. Sam, in particular, has had a troubled relationship with her father, at times publicly expressing her frustration and disappointment with his behavior. The knowledge that his own actions were alienating his children from him represented one of the most profound losses of his life. The entertainment industry, which had been Charlie's professional home for decades, also became a source of loss. His dismissal from 2.5 Men wasn't just the loss of a job. It represented the loss of a professional family and a daily routine that had provided some stability in his chaotic life. His co-stars, crew members, and the show's creators had been part of his daily existence for years, and the dramatic nature of his departure meant these relationships were severed suddenly and completely. Charlie also experienced the loss of friends and colleagues to overdoses and suicide, common tragedies in Hollywood circles where substance abuse is prevalent. These deaths served as stark reminders of the potential consequences of his own lifestyle choices, yet they often triggered increased substance use rather than serving as wake-up calls. The guilt of surviving when others didn't, combined with the fear of his own mortality, created additional layers of psychological trauma. Financial losses also represented significant trauma in Charlie's life. Despite earning hundreds of millions of dollars during his career, his lifestyle, legal fees, and settlements depleted much of his wealth. The loss of financial security represented not just a practical concern, but also a loss of the independence and power that money had provided. His ability to solve problems with money, to maintain his lifestyle, and to provide for his children was severely compromised. The cumulative effect of these losses created a pattern of grief that Charlie struggled to process in healthy ways. Instead of seeking proper therapeutic help, he often turned to substances or erratic behavior to cope with his pain. Each loss seemed to compound the previous ones, creating a cycle of trauma and self-destructive behavior that became increasingly difficult to break. As of 2025, Charlie Sheen presents a markedly different figure from the wild, unpredictable persona that dominated headlines throughout the 2000s and early 2010s. Now in his late 50s, Charlie has undergone what many close to him describe as a genuine transformation. Though it has been a gradual and sometimes inconsistent process, his current life reflects both the hard-won wisdom of someone who has survived their own worst impulses and the ongoing challenges of managing chronic health conditions and repairing damaged relationships. Charlie's approach to managing his HIV has become more disciplined and medically sound in recent years. He works closely with specialists and maintains a strict medication regimen that has kept his viral load undetectable, which means he cannot transmit the virus to sexual partners. This medical milestone has provided him with both physical health improvements and psychological relief from the guilt and fear that previously dominated his life. He has become more vocal about HIV awareness, participating in campaigns and speaking engagements that focus on education and destigmatization of the condition. His relationship with substances has evolved significantly, though it remains an ongoing challenge. Charlie has achieved periods of sobriety lasting months and sometimes over a year, representing substantial progress from his earlier patterns of daily substance abuse. He has embraced various treatment modalities, including traditional rehabilitation programs, therapy, and alternative approaches like meditation and wellness practices. While he acknowledges that addiction is a lifelong battle, his current approach is more mature and informed by decades of experience with both failure and success. In recovery, professionally, Charlie has had to rebuild his career from a much more modest position than the heights he once occupied. His post-2.5 Men projects have been limited, partly due to his reputation and partly due to his own selective approach to work. He appeared in the television series Anger Management from 2012 to 2014, which provided him with steady work and a chance to prove his reliability. Though the show never achieved the massive success of his previous series, more recently he has focused on smaller projects, independent films, and occasional television appearances that allow him more control over his schedule and environment. His financial situation, while still comfortable by most standards, is far more modest than during his peak earning years. The combination of legal settlements, rehabilitation costs, child support, and reduced income has necessitated a more careful approach to spending. This financial reality has actually contributed to his personal growth, forcing him to make more thoughtful decisions and rely less on money to solve his problems. Charlie's relationships with his children have shown signs of improvement, though progress has been slow and sometimes setbacks occur. His approach to fatherhood has become more patient and less demanding of immediate forgiveness for past mistakes. He regularly attends therapy focused on family relationships and has worked to create more stable, predictable interactions with his children. While the relationships remain complex and sometimes strained, there have been positive developments, including his daughters occasionally spending time with him and his sons, showing interest in reconnecting as they've grown older. His relationship with his father, Martin Sheen, has also seen gradual healing. Both men have acknowledged the pain their arrangement caused, and they have worked to rebuild their connection on more mature terms. Martin's own health concerns as he has aged have provided perspective on the importance of family relationships, and Charlie has shown more appreciation for his father's values and concerns. While they may never fully agree on all aspects of life, they have found common ground in their shared experiences as actors and their love for family. In terms of personal interests and activities, Charlie has embraced a quieter lifestyle that focuses on health and wellness. He maintains a regular exercise routine, has developed interests in cooking and home improvement, and spends considerable time on self-reflection and personal development. He has also shown interest in mentoring younger actors and sharing his experiences in a constructive way, though he approaches these opportunities carefully to avoid falling back into patterns of grandiosity or attention-seeking behavior. Charlie's public appearances have become more measured and purposeful, rather than the erratic media tours and social media outbursts that characterized his earlier years. He now chooses his public engagements more carefully. When he does speak publicly, his messages tend to focus on recovery, health awareness, and taking responsibility for past mistakes. This more thoughtful approach to public communication reflects his overall maturation and desire to use his platform constructively. Looking toward the future, Charlie appears focused on maintaining the stability he has worked so hard to achieve. His goals are more modest, but perhaps more realistic than in his younger years, that maintaining his health, continuing to repair family relationships, and finding meaningful work that doesn't compromise his recovery or personal well-being. While he will always carry the consequences of his past actions, his current trajectory suggests a man who has learned from his mistakes and is committed to a more sustainable way of living. The transformation from the chaotic figure who once proclaimed he had tiger blood and was winning to the more reflective man he appears to be today represents one of Hollywood's most dramatic personal rehabilitation stories. While Charlie Sheen may never fully escape the shadow of his past controversies, his current life suggests that redemption and personal growth remain possible even after the most public and destructive of falls from grace. His